Hi, this is Adam from Adam Warren Media, and today we're going to be editing a brand new image in Lightroom. Let's go. So on this channel I discuss all things Lightroom, from the tools that you can use to editing brand new images that you can apply to your own photography. So let's go into this image today. This image was taken by myself by on a Nikon D800, and it was taken at 24mm inside at this beautiful restaurant in Liverpool called The Florist. And although it's not a bad starting point that I think, there is still a lot of areas in which we can improve on and really bring the photo to life. So certainly around the shadow areas we can make this a bit more vivid as well, and maybe change the perspective. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing that I'm going to do is crop the image, because I think there's certain areas that don't need to be seen in it. So you can either hit R on the keyboard or just go to the crop overlay by clicking here. And what we're going to do, usually I'll post on Instagram the photos that I take. So the crop that I use usually is a 4x5, and I want it portrait like so. So then it's just a case of clicking on it and moving it slightly where you want it to be. This is the central area, the focus point that I want. So I'm just going to move it, hit enter, and that's it. The next thing is, in terms of perspective, it's a little bit skewed to one side slightly. So this is quite a basic thing. I just go down to transform. I'm going to hit auto, and that looks better. As you can see, it's a lot more straight, in line. Lightroom basically matches up the verticals, and I think it's a pretty good job. So in terms of general editing of the overall image, this is what's called a global adjustment. I'm basically going to take exposure down slightly to really bring out the roses of this image. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm also going to reduce the highlights because, again, there's a bit of glare from the extra light in this image, so it just helps sharpen it that little bit more, really. The next thing is white balance. Now, the problem you have with this image is you're getting natural light coming from this window over here, but then there's artificial light here and artificial light here, so it can be a bit difficult to match this up to make it look quite natural. But what I'm going to do is find a neutral target. It's something that's very grey, and yeah, that's added a bit of warmth to it, and just gonna cool it down slightly. Yeah, that's fine. I like that. So now we're going to do some specific local adjustments, and to do this we're going to use the radial filter, which is here. So it's Shift M on the keyboard, or you can just hit the radial button. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a circle here. In fact, I'm just going to reset the effect tool and I'm going to just widen this slightly. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase the shadows, because we need to bring back some of the detail in this image. So I'm just going to up that. That's fine. I'm also going to increase the sharpness. Try to get everything as sharp as possible, but the focus point was over the roses themselves rather than over here. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to reduce the temperature just to make it a bit more natural in terms of the light. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then again, you can see some greens and blues in this, so I'm going to just increase the saturation to bring that up. Yeah, that's good. So here was before, and this is after, just in this part. So it's brought it back to life. It's made the image already more interesting, I think. So that's fine. And I'm also going to just add a little bit of orange to it as well. Just a hint. Again, just so it kind of matches up to the roses a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Hit enter, and then that takes us out of the image, and we're still in the radial filter, so we can create another one if we want to. And I'm going to do that now over the roses. I'm just going to reset the effects first. There we go. I'm going to draw this. Again, initially the main thing is positioning where you want it to be and what is taken into account here. So if you hit O on the keyboard, you can see everything that's red is adjusted. And now what I'm going to do is basically bring down the exposure slightly. That's fine. Clarity up. Okay, yeah, I mean you can see that there's a lot more vividness in this image already. I mean, as I say, this is really the focal point of the image, and it's important before you even start to know where you want the focus to be and where you want to draw the viewer's eye into the image. So that's what we're going to do here. Again, I'm also going to specifically target the highlights as well. So now you can see that it's really made that difference there. I'm just going to show you before and after. So that's before, this is after. Again, really you can now see the definition in the lines, and that does make a difference, certainly. So I'm happy with that. Now we're going to adjust the tone curve, and I'm going to just come out of the radial filter, and what I'm going to do is just a simple S curve. So I'm just going to click in the middle. That's to affect the mid-tones of the image. I'm going to bring the shadows down, and at the same time just up the highlights that little bit more. Now it's made it a little bit dark, so what I'm going to do is going to up the exposure a little bit there, and that's fine. Now the next thing is I'm going to add a bit of colour to the highlighted areas and the shadows as well, because again it just adds that little bit extra, you know, if you wanted to create a nice filter for the image and just make it look that little bit different, then that's what we're going to look at. So first of all, to the split toning, what I'm going to do in terms of the highlights first, I'm just going to make this a bit more magenta. See how that looks. Yeah, I like that. So that's very colourful at the moment, very magenta at the moment. What I'm going to do next is affect the shadows, and then you can adjust the saturation afterwards. I'm just going to initially put that in as the saturation, and then we're going to adjust to it the blue slightly. So yes, you can see that's really building here. And yes, that's fine. I like that. Good. And then we're just going to take the brush tool again. This area here is this is a fireplace. I don't know if it's still used or not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit K or select the adjustment brush, and then I'm just going to paint in. At the moment, as you can see, there's no effects here. So what I'm going to do is initially I'm just going to hit L, so you can see where the effect is going to go once I dial in the settings. So I'm just going to increase the brush slightly there, so we can do it a little bit quicker. I'm not being too accurate here. But just keep that in. Oops, sorry. That's the previous image I made. So yes, you can see this is where it's due to go. And then I'm just going to hit O again to remove the mask. It's still there, I'm just going to hide it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the shadows to really bring some of it back, and add a bit of clarity as well, so that you can see the lines a bit clearer. I'm actually going to reduce the contrast slightly. Maybe add a little bit of dehaze too. And I'm just going to finish it off with a bit of colour and add a bit of orange as well to that area, just so it slightly matches the roses above it. Yeah, just not too much, just a hint there. So overall I'm pretty happy with that. Again, you don't need to make huge adjustments to an image for it to look good. Initially you want to get it right in camera, but there'll always be extra areas that you'll need to do afterwards. So what I'll do is I'll show you the before. This was the before, again a little bit hazy, the perspective's off, highlights are too high, whites, but then this is afterwards, it's a lot more vivid, the focus point is a lot clearer, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So that was what I did to this image. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, whether you liked it, what you'd have changed perhaps, and if you want to see more of these types of edits with this development tool and the other tools that I'll be bringing, hit subscribe, I really appreciate it.